Whether you realize it or not, you are already a brand. You don't need a business. You don't need a side hustle. You don't need to be a full-time entrepreneur to be a brand. You are a brand. Every room you walk into, whether it's at work, whether it's in your home, in your community, at school, with your children, with your friends, your family, you are a brand. They're looking at you as a brand. They're already judging you. We judge, that's what we do. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. We judge whether it's good or bad. Is her hair done? Does she look put together? Is she rude, ignorant? Is she always snapping on the customer service reps? How are you in public? How do people view you? How do you make people feel? That's the big one. How do you make people feel? You are a brand. You don't have to be a business owner or an entrepreneur to be a brand. You're a brand. So why not start building and creating your brand on your terms? Because if you don't start building your brand, somebody else will, and it may not be the brand that you had in mind. Your brand is your reputation. So you are a brand. Your energy, your message, your values all speak before you even open up your mouth. I didn't realize how much of a brand I already had until I went through this grief journey. And I'll tell you why. For the longest time, I felt like my purpose was done. It was over. Like, there's no way I'm going to get on a stage. There's no way I'm going to speak. Who's going to want to listen to me? I am in the worst pain you could possibly think of. My heart is shattered. I don't know what my message is going to be. I don't know what I'm going to say. I really thought it was over. I mean, deep down inside, there was this little, I'm going to call it Kino's light or Kino's, reminding me. But I was like, what am I going to do? And over the past 6-7 months, I've just been looking at my brand and thinking, okay, where do I want to rebrand? What do I want to recreate? How do I want to reinvent myself? And that is the thing about branding. You will reinvent and rebrand along the journey. Well, you're supposed to. You're growing. You're constantly growing. Well, you should be growing. So as you grow, your brand will grow. As you evolve, your brand will evolve. As you change and transform, your brand will change and transform. But it's still the brand, which is you. So today I want to share 3 powerful tips to help you start seeing yourself as a personal brand and how to start building it, whether or not you are a business owner, whether or not you are a full-time or part-time entrepreneur, whether or not you have a side hustle. So branding is no longer just for businesses. It's not just for business owners. It is literally your digital footprint. Your personal brand influences opportunities, relationships, and the big one, impact. So I want you to think, as you're listening to this video, how your brand, how you are influencing your opportunities, your relationships, and your impact. In this digital world, your brand is your superpower. You are your superpower. And this is why I believe it's so important to start teaching our children to think like a brand. And not just about what they're posting, not just about their friendships. It's really about how they're showing up with intention. And yes, it has a lot to do with what are they posting? What are they sharing? What type of conversations are they having? What are they doing in the community? How are they behaving? How are they interacting with their peers and their elders? This is all a part of their brand. So instead of us lecturing them, do this and do that and stop doing this and stop doing this and you got to do this and you got to do that, we've got to teach them, you got to see yourself as a brand because, honey, you are a brand. And everything you do, the decisions, the choices you make will follow you. And if you're not careful, they will haunt you. So we've got to start teaching them on how to get clarity about who they are. And that really comes from paying attention to what they say, what they do, and doing everything with purpose and intention. The second thing I want to touch on is your story. Your story holds the key to your brand. What have you overcome? What have you mastered? What have you experienced? So I want you to write down the 3 values that represent who you are. And more than likely, these values come from what you've experienced, come from your story. So if you were disrespected as a child or in a relationship for many years and you've done the work, you're doing the work to heal, you probably more than likely value respect in a relationship, whether that's a partnership, a collaboration, an intimate partnership, a friendship. You value respect. That is one of your values. I want you to think about the legacy that you want to leave. Talk about branding. That's your reputation, remember? So think about the legacy that you want to leave. When my son passed away, even though I knew he was a phenomenal human being, a man of integrity, a man of his word, a man of not only self-respect, but respected everyone. There is nobody on this planet Earth that could say that he ever disrespected or harmed them. I'm not kidding. Nobody. And it's not just because I'm his mother why I'm saying that. I learned that even on a deeper level at the time of his funeral and weeks and months after, and still learning, still getting messages from people that I had never met that knew him well, whether they grew up with him, whether they knew him for a short time. The world continues to speak on how phenomenal of a human being he was. So I really want you to think of your legacy. Think of it as, what do I want my eulogy to sound like? And I know that kind of, it might frighten you, it might scare you off a little bit, but you've got to think about this, because how you treat people now is how you will be treated when you need them. I've gone through that a few times in my life. I experienced it when I had my emergency brain surgery, and I experienced it on a much bigger level when I lost my son. You've got to think about your legacy. The third thing I want to share, did I say 2, 3? Was that 2, 3? Anyways, the third thing I want to share is to audit your online presence. Now, this is whether or not you are a business owner. Audit your online presence. If I come across your page, what will your online presence tell me about you? Will I know your hobbies? Your passions? Will I be able to see these things? Or better yet, if you are attending a job interview and the HR manager, whoever is interviewing you, says, so what are your hobbies? What are your passions? Because they do this now, by the way, right? And you say, well, I am super passionate about priority youth or providing financial literacy for youth. You put that on your resume. More than likely, that person interviewing you will go and search your socials. Not more than likely, they are going to find you on your socials. Unless you're there under a fake name and all of that. Don't do that, right? You might as well start building your brand with purpose, on purpose. So when I'm here, Maria, your name is Maria. Oh, here's Maria's page. Oh my goodness, look at this. She volunteers at this youth organization and that youth organization, and she's providing all these resources and tips and providing financial literacy for youth. It doesn't mean that you're in business doing that, but that is something you're passionate about. So what does your online presence say about you? Will I see what you're passionate about? Will I see your family or your relationship or your whatever it is that you want to share with the world, whatever brand you want to build for yourself, is that obvious on your page? If you say you're super passionate about gardening, maybe you're applying for a job at a nursery, or you're just passionate about gardening. Will I see that on your socials? What do your social media pages say about you? In addition to that, I'm inviting you to curate your feed with intention. Like really scroll through your photos and your content and ask yourself, is this how I want the world to remember me? And if you're out there networking and building professional relationships, building collaborations and partnerships, that's definitely something to think about. Go to your pages, scroll through each photo, all your captions, and ask yourself, is this what I want the world to remember about me? As you're auditing your socials, I also want you to think and ask yourself, if you have children, is this what I want my children to think about me? I want you to think digital integrity and self-representation. If we are teaching and speaking to our children about the things that they post, the things that they're saying, the things that they're watching, should we not be an example of that? Actually, their first example of that? And this is why so many of our children are rebelling and going totally against what we're teaching at home because it's not what they're seeing at home. Remember, you are a brand. Start creating content around your message. So you might be thinking, well, Elizabeth, I don't have a message. What do you mean by a message? What and who do you say you are? What do you represent? Who do you represent? What do you stand for? Those values, the things you're passionate about. What do you say you are? Whatever that is, start creating content around that message, around that thing, around that movement, around that passion, that hobby, that product, that service. Whatever it is, we all have something. We all have something. So start posting and creating content around that thing. Because you could be super passionate about something today and think, I'll never build a business doing this. This is not for me. I'm not qualified. I don't have what it takes. I don't look a certain way. I don't have the credentials, the education, whatever it is. You could be convincing yourself of that, right? Which is a lie. But you don't know what's going to happen down the line. You could meet Tom, who notices this thing about you, this thing in you, this thing that you're passionate about, your story, your message, and say, you know what, Maria? I would actually love to interview on my podcast. I would love to interview for this talk show that I have coming up. I would love to partner with you. I would love to give you this opportunity, this job, this project. You don't know that. So if this is something you're passionate about, your story, your message, why not start sharing content on it? You don't have to be a motivational speaker to start sharing content on what you are passionate about, on the things you like to talk about. You don't have to be a coach to start teaching people tips and resources and how to do's and what to do's. You don't need a public platform, a live platform. This is a platform. Social media is a platform and it's free. So why not start launching, creating, building this thing that you have in mind, that you're holding in your heart now? Why wait until you have a registered business? Why not start doing it now? Building your personal brand today, now, through your content. And your content doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be all edited. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't need a mic. You don't need a professional camera. I'm recording this with my iPhone. It just needs to be real and authentic. You just need to share your voice. You don't have to sound like Tony Robbins. You don't have to act like Jasmine Star. You don't have to look a certain way. Just be you. Because God has assigned a world of people who are waiting to hear your message. Their freedom, their healing, their breakthrough is wrapped up in your message, not mine. And those people are your people. They're not my people. And God has assigned a world of people for each and every person. Whether you have no legs, whether you are living with a disability, whether you are deaf, blind, God has assigned a world of people who are going to be inspired and empowered to take action to move through your story. And just in case you are thinking of going from idea to income, just in case, Building your brand builds trust. It's called the know, like, and trust factor. So as you're building your message, as you're sharing it, people will be scrolling, they'll find your message, and they'll start to get to know you. Oh, I know this lady. She's the lady who posts ABC on Instagram, her YouTube channel, or whatever you're standing for, whatever you're putting out there. Then they're going to start liking you. And it's a process. It's a journey. It does not happen overnight. I have teachers who have hired me to speak that were following my socials for 2-3 years and finally sent me a DM inviting me to come to their schools to speak, present, facilitate. So it's a process. So they'll know you first, then they'll start liking you. Oh, I like this girl. Here comes the subscribe or the follow. And then there might be a little gap in there, a little time that goes by. And then all of a sudden you start selling something, whether it's a service or a product or a membership or a movement. And what do? They now subscribe. They purchase. They're going to buy. They are sold out for whatever it is that you're selling and doing. So those are the 4 tips I wanted to share when it comes to building your personal brand. And remember, you are a brand. You're a brand at work. You're a brand at home. You're a brand in your community. Even your bank teller is judging you, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. She sees your spending habits. She knows let's not get into that part, but you know what I mean. You're a brand. You are a brand. You cannot escape that. So if you're ready to take your personal brand seriously, if you're ready to build your personal brand, I have created a free resource. It is a workbook and / ebook. Tap the link below, print this ebook and workbook out. It's called the Digital Creators Launch Book. Everything you can think of that you will need to build your brand, whether it's getting clear with your product, getting clear with your service, getting clear with your client avatar, your niche, however you say it, breaking it down into a plan, steps to building your brand, steps to launching the brand, digital products, which if you are not creating, honey, you don't even have to be a business owner to start creating digital products. Ebooks, guides, checklists, talking head videos, courses. You need to get with the digital times. So click that link. It's below in the description box. For me personally, I enjoy feeling the books, feeling the papers. I enjoy putting pen to paper. My creative juices flow more freely when I am actually writing. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind typing, but there's something about writing. So if you can, print it out in color. It might cost you a few dollars, but that's okay. You're worth it. Your brand is worth it, right? And if you want step-by-step guidance on turning your idea, whatever that idea is, into a digital product or a personal brand, I would be more than honored to help you through that journey. And at the Digital Healing Academy, it's exactly what we do. I take your idea and I help you turn that idea into income. If you want to chat about that, get on a free discovery call, jump on a free call with me, click the link below. We will set up a 20-30-minute discovery chat and see where you're at with your ideas and your passions and your projects and your movement, memberships, digital products, whatever it is. So remember, you are the brand. Your story matters. It's time to share that story with the world. So don't just scroll. Remember, you are the brand and your story matters. The world needs to hear your story. The world needs to see this product that you have in mind, this vision that you have in your heart that God gave you. You are responsible for bringing that vision to life. So don't just scroll. Stop the scrolling and start building. So now before we go, I want you to drop in the comment box below one value that you want your personal brand to reflect. One value. That tastes good. How much syrup? How much sugar's in here? I'm going to be doing cartwheels on my YouTube video. This tastes so good. Is there whipped cream in here?